And with that, we are live, and I am going to start talking and making sure all my audio and everything is working right before we get into this. Welcome, as Brian, who is in the chat, says, hello 3D printing friends. It's good to see you all here tonight. Thanks for joining us, Brian. I appreciate having you in tonight. Audio sounds good. Let me know if anything changes, please. Let me know if there's any problems with the audio or video as usual. It's nice to have everyone here. And we are going live with a very large Klipper printer, as someone has already mentioned. This is the Flsun V400. Yes, I'm reading it off the box to make sure that I get it right. So Brian's wondering, am I going to have several hundred pages of A4 paper in the box? I do remember seeing that. That they've sometimes padded the boxes so that they hit a certain weight. We'll see if that happens. But it's good to see everyone here. Let me do some call outs. Ramaline, it's good to see you as usual. Thanks for joining me. Coffee to Clutch. Who else we got? Television. Good to see you here this evening. And of course, like I said earlier, Brian, good to see you. Welcome one and all to the stream. I think it's going to be a fun one tonight, as I put in the ever creative thumbnail that my daughter helped me make. This is going to be the tallest printer that I've ever built. Obviously, I don't think it has a bigger build volume than like my Ender 5 Plus, but anyway, the should be a much higher machine. So I'm looking forward to having this one built. It's supposed to be a good fast machine. As I put in the description of this video. So let me go ahead, let's talk a little bit about what we're doing here tonight. Hello, Shawdell 3D. This will be my second Delta printer that I've ever built. Many years ago, I got a completely built from scratch Delta printer from one company. That one took me like 8 hours to build, I think, because it was literally nuts and bolts assembly, and it was a huge deal. It wasn't that great of a printer either. I would have had to do a lot of mods to get it up and running, and I actually meant to do some of that and just never took the time. But anyway, so Flsun is the provider of this machine today. There's no sponsorship here. They just provided the machine for this live stream, so let's just get that out of the way. With that being said, there are two links in the description that you will find on where you can purchase this machine. You can buy it direct from Flsun, and there's a fantastic coupon code in the description. If you follow that, you'll get, I think, $40 off, if I remember correctly. I will go double check myself. Yes, $40 off if you order it direct from them. Check the description for that. Excuse me. And if you want to buy from Amazon, if I remember, it's a little bit more expensive on Amazon, but if you want it quick, fast, easily manageable through Amazon, go ahead and follow that link there. Either one of those are affiliate links, and I do earn from your purchase. So that is all I need to say there. Coincidentally, isn't Delta Airlines headquarters in your general vicinity? Yes, I'm in the Atlanta area, and Delta Airlines is headquartered here in Atlanta. So without further ado, I think we're going to get started here. We're going to have people trickle in, as always, with one of these live streams. We're going to start off kind of slow, but I wanted to go ahead and get started here. As usual, I do start out with the tech page, so let's start out there. Let me minimize this. We're going to switch over to the page I already have brought up, which you can find a link to in the description. This is the manufacturer. Without Brian's going to throw me off with his comments. Don't do that, Brian. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into this screen share. And we're looking at, like I said, this is the Flsun product page that's in the description. This is the Flsun V400. It is in stock in the US. It is in stock in Canada. It is in stock in Europe, Russia, Canada, again, Australia. Anyway, oh, CN, China, sorry. There we go. So it is in stock just about everywhere. It is currently $849 direct from them, tax included, as they say. And like I said, there's a $40 off coupon in the description. Let's look at what they say about this machine. They say it is 400 millimeters per second, millimeters per second if you really wanted to hear it. And it is 400 millimeters per second, Klipper, bimetal heat break, which I just love that we have a manufacturer that is including the ability to print high temp filament out of the box. It does have online printing, which means it should have Wi-Fi. It's a silent printer. We'll assess that later. It's got a 7-inch touchpad, filament detection, auto leveling, all that included. It is blazing speed, as we all know. You can save 70% of the print time. We have a 5-hour and an 18-minute print versus a 17-hour and 9-minute print. High speed, good quality, which is what I've heard from everyone. It's got a gig of memory, onboard 16 gig EMM. This is all because it is a Klipper-based machine, and Klipper-based machines have to run usually a copy of Linux, and so it definitely needs way more horsepower under the hood to run all of that. Get 7-inch IPS display, which is a really nice display. They didn't skimp out on the display. It is a direct drive extruder. It's ultra light. Obviously, if you're moving around at 400 millimeters per second, it needs to be light. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to keep up with the speed. It's for rapid prototyping. It also does high quality printing and has strong wind. I think I'm just going to leave that one there. It has strong wind. In fact, it has double-sided wind, which, as you guys, if you've watched plenty of my videos, you know I'm a huge fan of double-sided wind. So there we go. Linear guides, that's how these Delta printers work. Let's see what else again, it prints up to 500 millimeters per second. It does look like it used volcano-style nozzles. Luckily, I have some of those. It prints PLA, PLA+, wood, TPU, ABS, PETG, PC, and nylon. Very, very nice. Let's see. Printing platform is a PEI sheet with a soft tile underneath it, then a 5 millimeter aluminum plate, and then under there is the V400. I think the soft tile it's mentioning here is the magnetic build surface that the PEI sticks to. The printing size, it has a 300 millimeter by 410. 410 is the height. You notice this 300 is the diameter of the print bed, because on Delta printers we have a round print surface, not a square one. If you're wanting to know more details, again, you can find them all here. Someone asked, how big is it? Let me see if they have the overall dimensions of the printer. They usually include that in these tables. I'm not seeing it at the time. So I don't have that off the top of my head, and they don't seem to include it here. You know, when I get it built, I'll be happy to measure it. That won't be a problem. I should be able to find a tape measure nearby. So with all of that being said, I think we're ready to get this thing unboxed and get going. Don't want to waste any more time not unboxing and not building and printing. I want to get you back to your Thursday evenings. So anyway, if you would, go ahead. If you have social medias of any sort, I've probably posted this on my social media page of choice, whether it's Facebook or Twitter. I've even put out an Instagram story. So if you will, please go ahead to your favorite media, social media page, and do share this. Let people know we're here this evening. Bring people into the fold. You know how it goes. So, with that being said, you go off and do that. I'll start cutting this box open, and we will go from there. Again, pretty large box here, pretty heavy too. Let's get it unpackaged. Where do we go next? My buttons got changed around, but this looks like where I want to be. So let's take a look. Make sure. Yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure my mic was still picking up. If you don't hear me at any point, please let me know. Get this one opened up. Overall, the package looks like it made it all right. There's a little bit of an indentation here on the top. It doesn't look like something that should affect the build overall, though. Let people know this, and I'll probably say it again before the end of the stream. I will have another live stream next week. I will probably do it on Wednesday next week. It's going to be a little bit different. I think I'm going to have a a resin printer that I'm going to do a live unboxing for, which sounds crazy. I don't know anyone doing resin unboxings, but I'm going to try to do a resin live stream next week. Hello, hello, Printer Prawn and Aaron 3D. Good to see you guys here. Thanks for dropping by. Let's go ahead and get this out of here. Nice packaging. It looks like they have waterproofed it. This is all sealed up. So I'm going to actually cut this plastic away so that I can more easily get it out of the package. And it does look like they waterproofed this when they sent it to me, which is really nice. One less thing to worry about. It's, you know, much like Creality printers, it looks like it is afraid of wet. There we go. Dominique, good to see you. Good to see you very much. Dominique has been wrestling with VS Code today, so thank you very much for dropping in. I appreciate it. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm already liking the look of this. This looks like a very well packaged machine. Actually looks very kind of industrial looking. I love the look of this. We've got our instructions here right on. I'm going to need to make this where I can see it. Can't see me live. All right. As you can see right there, we have a full color instruction manual, which I love. So nice to see so many of these printing companies putting some money into their actual manuals. Very nice to see. Let's go ahead and start getting these out and finding a place where I'm going to put these. Again, they look like they've done a very excellent job packaging them. Those are recyclable, so I'll throw those on the floor and not in the garbage. Go ahead. It's like we've got this. I don't know if it's going to stay on here during the construction, but I'm going to put it back on here just in case. Realize that is messing up our focus here. So let me see if I can get that down and where it will stay. All right. Looks very nice. Very large, hefty. Yeah, these are big boys. Very, very nice. Really heavy. They are lubricated. You can see the glare in there. So these are lubricated all the way up and down. The motor's already attached. They are just labeled as Flsun motors. Belts already in here. They seem well tensioned. Liking what I'm seeing so far. Do need to find a place to put these because they're not going on the table yet. I did put my large board on here because I knew I would need more space. So hopefully I should have enough room. Let's go to the second one here. Same thing. I see lubrication up and down the inside of this rail. Again, nice motors. Well, this belt's a little looser. I don't think it's going to be a problem. I don't see any... Oh, you tension these just, I think, by pulling them off and tightening them up. So I'm not going to mess with them. We'll assume that they were tensioned the appropriate amount in the factory, but it does look like it's something I can mess with in the future if I need to. All right, and the final one. Let's see what this one looks like. Same. Nice lubrication up the center. And again, everything looks good. Just checking these out as I pull them out so that I don't run into any problems after I build them, or hopefully won't. What else we got here? These are the actual motion components of the printer. These are the rods that go to the print head. So we'll just put those aside. Have a lot of supplies here. In this bag, I see tube grease. I see a brush, probably for applying that tube grease. I have an probably extra thermistor, heating element, a cleaning cloth of some sort, screwdriver, snips. Very nice little package of tools. What else we got here? In this bag, we have a US power cable, which I will not need today because I have power cables. And in this bag, we have some more of the components we need to put the machine together. And here, this probably is going to be part of a spool holder. All right. That is the top layer of this box. I am having to step off just to throw away the packaging. Ooh, okay, so this will start giving you an idea of how big this machine actually is. These are fairly sizable. I guess this is the time where I go find a quick tape measure. I should have one over here. Not my nicest tape measure, but it's the one that's easily accessible. We can go ahead and get an idea of how big this is. Kind of like maximum size base. About 17 inches or 43 millimeters. Yeah, 43 centimeters, excuse me. 43 centimeters or, like I said, about 17 inches is going to be the largest size of that base. All right. Should have put the box on the floor, then I could have put the parts on the table, but then it's hard to film these sorts of things. So let's go ahead and see what we've got here. They did include a very tiny spool of sample filament to get you going. Probably won't be using that. White is not the prettiest thing to print with for test prints. And we got here, looks like a sensor of some sort. I think that there is more down here, but we can just shove that in there in case. We have, so this is our hot end assembly. And is it still assembled? Oh, there it goes, okay. So this is the hot end assembly. And as you can see, it does have the dual cooling on the bottom. It does have the nozzle, which have they gunk stuff up around it of some sort. It's got some sort of gunk around it. And I love these LED strips. You see these right here? These are LED strips all around the hot end. So I'm looking forward to seeing that work. Color-coded wiring harness. Nice, small, round extruder, direct drive extruder. I'm really liking the look of this so far. Not only that, but these fans here look really heavy duty. They've got this metal shroud on them. Very nice. I have not seen anything quite like that extruder before. I'll take a drink real quick because I'm talking a ton. Excuse me. All right. Let's see what else we got here. I'm just kind of randomly picking. This is a part. I'm not exactly sure what this is. Just looking at it, I'm not sure. Well, I guess we'll find out together. I'm sure Brian can tell us. I think Brian's already built one of these. What else is in here? So here is our beautiful display. Very nice, well packaged, well protected. Let me put that one aside. Also trying to put these delicate things over here on my side table to keep them from being damaged in any way. All right. Okay. Brian says that that thing I just picked up that I didn't know what it was is a table easel. I'm assuming that's to probably hold the display. We have a thingamajigger. It's good to have. Whatchamacallit. All right, so these I have a feeling are going to be a little heavy. This is very nice. Guessing this is the top of the machine. Set that aside carefully. In such a way that we don't damage anything and make sure I'm not setting it on anything. Okay. This will all come back on the table in just a few minutes. These are packaged well, I agree. Television mentioned that these look like they're packaged very well. And I agree, they do look very nice. Although I have to get my hands in here to get this piece out. So here's the base, obviously. That's our print surface. Get it to where you can see it over here, yeah. So print surface, We'll get into the details here in a moment. Again, let me carefully set this aside, and then we'll pull it back on the table in just a moment. There we go. And from the feel of it, that should be everything. I don't think we've missed anything thus far. I'll be sure not to damage the box just in case there's something else in here that I missed. Do we get to see the inside of the printer? Absolutely. That's one of the things I do here. Have to take it apart to see what's in it, right? All right, so I guess we can probably do that first. We don't want to do any assembly because then it will be harder. All right, let's go ahead. Excuse me while I hook you up with a good view here. Okay, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and remove myself and so you can just see what we're working at. All right, so as you can see, this is the build surface. There's the magnet. Make sure see if there's anything under here. Doesn't look like they've included any sort of stickers that I need to worry about pulling off. There's no adjustment, no knobs, nothing here that you have to mess with. Yep, I'm going to move. Yep, this looks very nice. It actually is I tell you from experience, this is a nice PEI sheet. It's not a cheap one. They didn't make it double-sided, which kind of sucks because I do like the double-sided PEI, but at least the side they give us looks like it was adhered properly to the surface. It's not just a sticker or anything. It does seem well built. So get this on here, mostly straight, and let's take a look at the inside of the machine. The only time I don't go into the inside of a machine is if I think that there is if I'm going to risk damaging it before I ever have a chance to test it, I will not take it apart. This one does not look like that's going to be a problem. So we will move right ahead with a quick disassembly, and we'll take a look and see what the inside looks like. This one looks like it's going to be pretty straightforward. Just a few screws on the bottom. I don't see anything holding it together. Now that I can see again, I'm going to move around some of my display here. Give me 1 second. Okay. Dominique has a very good point. I could put a smooth PI sticker on the back. That would be a nice use of the other side. Or, I guess if I really wanted to, I could buy another textured one. Whatever I need to do. Let's go and get this apart. Here I was worried that it was going to be a cold evening in the garage, but it's that time of year where you can never tell exactly what the weather is going to be like. It's actually a little warm, so I hope I don't have to turn on the AC. And there's nothing attaching this, which, you know, as a person that disassembles this machine, I love that there's nothing actually on here. They've done a good job of giving us this nice kind of Star Wars-esque grill, if you know what I'm talking about. And it's just for airflow. And if you're wondering about the power supply, you're going to have to keep wondering because, how am I going to, okay. I'm just not a quitter. I'm just not a quitter, guys. Although, if I can't find the right size, the same size? No. Wow. What size is it supposed to be? Is it a 2.5? Okay, it's a 2.5. All right, so let's go ahead and I will pull this power supply off and we can find out what brand it is. If you can tell, the electronics themselves must be in the top of the machine, so we'll have to pull out the top. This is just the power supply. We have the MOSFET that is used for turning the bed on and off. That is down here. Other than that, this is the whole thing. One thing I don't see is it doesn't look like the chassis is grounded. It's one thing I go back and forth on. The AC only goes into the power supply, so you should never have an instance of direct AC going into the chassis. I do like seeing the chassis grounded though, and it does look like that they have not grounded the chassis directly to the wall. So I will leave that out there for you to decide if it's a concern. Again, the way it's wired up, the power supply is grounded to the wall properly, but it does not go into the chassis. Actually, I take that back. Hold on. Before I say anything more, it actually should be grounded because we have screws going from the chassis to the power supply. So as long as the screws ground the chassis to the power supply, we should be fine. There's not a wire going directly from the plug to the chassis, but it may be grounded through the power supply. There is 0 label on this power supply. So even though I've taken it off for you to find out what brand it is, I cannot tell you what brand of power supply it is. I don't even think I can tell you. Let me go ahead and set my voltage here. So we are at 115 now. I can't even tell you what wattage this power supply is, because there is no indication on the supply, the make, model, or wattage. So that's all I got for you. Let's go ahead and maybe we're done building this thing up. I will pull out the multimeter and see if I can tell you if we're grounded to the wall. Should be easy to test. It is an Acme power supply. Hopefully not Wile E. Coyote's Acme, but it does seem like a relatively small power supply. Keep in mind the fact that it's 300 diameter instead of like 300 by 300. That actually is less to heat. That should compute out to less square surface area to actually heat. So my guess is the power supply is more than sufficient. It's not an expensive power supply, I can tell you by feeling it. It's not particularly heavy, but I've not heard, this machine's been out for a little while. I haven't heard of anyone complaining about power supply failures or it not being sufficient to heat it. So we'll go on the assumption for now that the good people at Flsun correctly spec'd their power supply. I know. Crazy to go off of such assumptions. All right. Let's get this put back together. Is that the way it came? I actually don't know. Which way did this come, guys? I didn't pay attention. Which end did this go off of? Don't make me go rewind my own stream to find out which way it came. Because I don't remember. Anybody? I'll wait a second for you to get back to me. I'm going to have to rewind my own stream to figure it out. Da-da-da. Da-da-da. So flipping it over, looks like it was on the corner furthest from the camera. Yes, it was on the MOSFET side. Yep, you're right. I have it correct. All right, doesn't seem like it matters a whole lot which end goes where. So we're going to put that right back there because I think that's where it went. And I think all of you are agreeing with me. Appreciate you checking up. Should have paid attention. Didn't notice that it was asymmetrical. We got Typer updating their Ender 5 Plus right now. Can you tell me if I should be putting your 171 KF on the new silent board? Depends on how old your Ender 5 Plus is. If you have a relatively new Ender 5 Plus, you may not want to because they've updated the firmware on the display and it can lead to you having a permanently Chinese display. So if you don't want to have to deal with that and go find the right display firmware and update your display also, you may want to keep it. If you have a relatively old Ender 5 Plus that you're just now updating, you may be fine and the Chinese bug won't pop and bother you. So have to see.
The cutout is apparently where the cable comes in from one of the legs, which is what I figured. Well, of course you have a Chinese display. I'm saying the language will get stuck in Chinese mode if you're not careful, and then you have to. Now, if that happens to you, if your display does get stuck in Chinese, I'm still looking for the right version. I've asked someone to provide it for me, but you should be able to get an older display firmware. You flash your display, and then that Chinese bug gets fixed. So that is an option. We're talking Ender 5 Plus in case you're lost as to what we're talking about. Oh, yours is already stuck there. Okay, well, if yours is already stuck there, then you can use my Kersey Fabrication firmware, and then you just need to search around the forums, ask around. Other people have found out which version of the display firmware you'll need, and you'll just have to flash your display. Problem solved. All right, so that is it for this. Let's go and grab that top, since that is apparently where the electronics are. Yep, that is where it is. A few screws here, and we will see what is in this one. Which way does this go to show you properly? I always get it wrong. There we go. Let's see what this looks like. Thank you, Typer. It's good to have you here. I really appreciate you joining us today in this live stream. Thank you for coming by. All right. Let's see what's in this side. Be careful not to mess anything up. All right. So, there we go. I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you. Hopefully the camera keeps up nicely and you can see pretty well what we're looking at. I will tilt it up. Let me go ahead and take a look at what's in here. So this is just simply a breakout board. This just takes a lot of the inputs from the board, breaks them out to these headers underneath here, which are more readily, I'll tell you, I'm bad at this. There we go. They're more readily available to be plugged in for all the parts. All right. And the board. The board is a Nano V2.1 board. It has silent steppers on it, which are okay. There's your silent steppers here. There are 4 steppers. They all have nice heat sinks. They put a good size fan on here to keep everything cool. Everything looks like it's assembled well. They have glued a lot of our things in so that they won't come out. This is our USB connector. It's glued in. I am seeing ferrules on all of the power connectors. So both the bed, which is a high current, and the input to the board, which is high current, both have ferrules on them. They look well done. They're crimped on ferrules, and they look like that they are done well. Can't complain. Do I see any gaping problems? No, they've cable tied everything nicely. Our Z comes out here, our Y's come out here, our X comes out here. Don't see any glaring problems at all. The board looks like it has some expansion capabilities. It is going to be most likely, yep, it's an ARM-based processor. Nice board. Everything looks like it's put together well. It's glued in together well. No other comments here. Looks good. So when I put it back down, I have to line up that tube. Yep, the tube goes back through there, and then this one was easy to figure out because the cable comes out of this hole here. I'm going to back up. There we are. Ooh, man, a little jerky. All right, looks good. Let's go and get it put back together. and we will be ready for assembly. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will answer those as we're going through assembly again. Notice when I'm reassembling this, I'm kind of going around. I get all of the screws in before I start tightening everything down and make sure that everything goes in well. And we don't end up having anything askew before we tighten it. Yo, Jake from State Farm, good to see you. Thanks for joining. And Mr. S, that's how I'm going to pronounce it because I don't know how to pronounce your name. Good to see you as well. If I missed anyone, please let me know. Happy to say hi to everyone that wants to perk up, chime in the chat there. So, what kind of things do you guys print? What would you print with a machine this big and this fast? What kind of things should I print on it in the next few days as I'm posting to social media and other places? What kind of prints would you like to see me print on here? I mean, obviously something like a helmet works really well because it's round. Skulls. Coffee to Clutch says the skulls of my enemies. Leg pieces for an Iron Man suit would be fantastic. Television knows what I like. Scraps 007 says helmets. So I think we're all on the same page. Armor. Thanos' blade. That'd be interesting. All right. Let us go wide here. I'm going to take another sip of my beverage, and then we will get going. Printer mods. I mean, what else are you going to print on a 3D printer but mods? Isn't that what we get printers to print? Mods for themselves? Let's see here. So looking at a vase. A vase would be perfect. I'd love to just print a large vase that pretty much takes up the whole build volume. That would be nice. Advice and guidance. More information on the machine itself. Here's what all the parts of a printer are. Here's all the components that we should have had included. And now it's time to do some assembly. Interesting, I didn't really expect that. So take out the shells and place them vertically or on the desktop. The top shell Flsun logo and the QR code are on the same direction. Okay, and then we start assembling. Let's see. Okay, and then we're gonna, excuse me real quick, I'll fix this. Print other printers, I like that one too, that works. Plug the motor cable in. Alright, so let's figure this out. So it looks like that this is supposed to be the Y leg. See if I can figure out how they want me to do this. We're gonna have to go wide on this one for most of this build, I think. I'm going to put it the way that it's facing me instead of facing you. It'll help me in the build process. So Flsun goes there, and although if I do that, I have to switch sides here. PF Dennis, good to see you. Flsun logo here, QR code here. New subscriber. Whoop, whoop. All right. And I think this is supposed to be Y. Well. Am I going to get this backwards again? How do they want this? Okay. So this way, and then this would be Y. Okay. Let me do it. Let me redo it again. Okay. Redoing it again. So I just want to be oriented right. So Y here, fantastic. Y I think is going to come out, yep, okay. And then on this one, they're saying the QR code should be up also. So like this maybe? I just remove the build plate for now. That's going to be in the way. Don't let me print on my magnet. So that looks like it goes there. They're showing the QR code here. So I think I'm oriented right now. We're going to assume anyway. That's Y. Okay. And I should get the Y leg. That's Z. There's Y. Interesting. My stuck together. All right, so this one's Y. Motor goes up top. They are showing, take out the shells, top FL code are in the same direction, okay. Then plug the motor cable in before putting the motor into the top shell. Install 8 M5 screws on both ends of the axis. So that's 4 on each end. And yep, okay. So we're gonna go ahead, we plug in our Y motor. We then insert the Y motor into the top. This one has the plug, there we go. This gives you an idea about how tall it is. Does the cooling vent point towards the build plate? Yeah, the top one does. There's not much heat being generated up in this end though. I mean, a little bit, but it's mainly for airflow. I don't think you're going to feel much. After all, hot air rises, which I guess from that sense, it would have been nice for it to be on top, but if you did it on top, then you're going to get dust in it. So there, as with almost all things with electronics and what have you, there would have been trade-offs. So there we go. And there we go. Pops right in there. There we go. Fantastic. It looks like I am well on my way. So I think all my screws are in this bag here. Let me get it out. That, like I said, I've got a thermistor, I've got cable ties, and a nozzle clearer. I've got the Allen wrenches, hex keys, whatever you'd like to call them. It does come with a 4 gig USB. I've got my customer service card or quality control card. I've got an extra heater core, which is fantastic. And then I found the screws I was looking for. And then some other maintenance gear, tools that we're going to need. I'll put those right up there too. About 1 meter tall. Let's find out. Let's see. Should be able to tell how big it is. Let me go ahead and screw this together. I don't want it to fall over or anything on me while I'm playing around with it. So let me go ahead and get this in here. It's a large hex. Again, I'm using my own tools. It comes with tools. Typically for the live streams, the only reason I use my own tools is purely for speed. I don't want to be slowed down with some of the manufacturer's tools, which may not be as easy to use as just using my own. Keep in mind, 400 millimeters is the build size. On a Delta printer, you actually have a lot of extra height at the top that you just need for the machine itself. So if this just looks tall, purely just because there will be extra height, that's not actually build volume. All right, Scrap's got some good advice in there. I won't read that aloud. You can read the chat afterward, that'd be great. Jay Connolly says that they love this printer. They have one. Good to know. Thanks for dropping in and following along with this build. I appreciate it. I do like the assembly thus far. This is very structurally sound. These are large screws. You're doing 4 in each end. It's going to hold together pretty well. Now that I've got all 4 in, I will go ahead and tighten them up. and then we'll do the bottom. Okay. One. That's one I did. 2, 3, 4. Check the tension on the bolts before building it. Okay, makes it easier. All right. On the belts. I did check the tension on the belts when I first unpacked it. A couple more a little looser than I think I'd want it, but they don't look in any way too loose to do some nice quality printing. So I can tighten those up as a tuning later on, but I think that they were fine to get going. Andrew, good to see you. Thanks for dropping in this evening. I appreciate it. All right, again, everything tightening up here. Got everything lined up? I think it's lined up. Not 100% sure on that side. Yeah, it just needs tightening. All right, we'll get them all tightened down. Yeah, that's fine. It's just a little wompy. I made that one up. Wobbly at this point because we don't have everything attached yet. We'll get it all straightened up. Hey, we got 37 people watching, only 17 likes. Let's get that straightened out. I'm sure we'll get more people in here later. So if you haven't liked this, I would appreciate it. Catawampus, Rooster XS. I like Catawampus. That one works for me too. Hit that like button. I'd much appreciate it. We got 40 people coming. See, your likes are bringing people into this stream. So, go ahead, like this. I can't find the screw. There we go. All right. There we go. Good and tight. Okay. Next up, we pass the straightened cable through the inside of the Y-axis and insert the connector into the bottom of the shell. All right, so we're going to take this and see how easy it is to actually get it down that entire chassis. Thank you so much, Jay Connolly, for clicking that like. We're doing much better on the likes right now. We still have more people watching than liking, so I think we can do a little bit better on there. But I don't ask much of you guys. I really don't. I appreciate you dropping by. I appreciate you coming and being a part of my streams. And that's usually all I ask of you, that and a like. A share doesn't hurt either, but you know. I want you to sit back, grab any sort of beverage that appeals to you, from water to an adult beverage, and join a Thursday evening here. That's all I ask. Use a rope to pull it. Oh, I wanted to do it the hard way. I wanted to see if I could do it the hard way. Oh. How do they want it? Do they want it down? Which part? Yeah, I figured. I actually want it through the top part of this. It should just go. Let's just see. I don't think there's many places it can go to. It's kind of just a straight shot. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and we'll adapt and change. Pretty easy. If it doesn't fit down this easily, then I will grab something to pull on it. Because we're running into something. Really thought it was going to be easier than that. Use gravity. Gravity's not going to help us here. Use a metal wired fish. I do think I probably have a... one of the things they have on here, they've got this little twist thing. That shouldn't be there yet. Let's take that off and see if it works. Yeah, it's easy until it isn't. That's what Brian says. So let's see if this was catching up on it. And just see if we can get it. They don't tell me in the instructions that I need to use any particular magic to get it down this pipe. So let's see if they're right. Thing is, I do have a cable fish like downstairs in my basement that would definitely make short work of this. But this is not, nah. If they thought that was just going to go down there, gravity's not going to help because it's actually getting tangled up in some way. This is the quickest thing I have at my disposal. So I may just do it this way. It also will keep it rigid. So I'm just going to use this dowel, this wooden dowel. I'm in my garage here. I'm going to take, I need some tape. Tape is also available. It's the beauty of doing this in my garage, and it's also the beauty of doing this with this wireless microphone, is I don't lose you when I do this. So we're going to do it. Tape. Just some blue painter's tape. Should make short work of this. Again, I like this idea. Maybe it will, I mean, I could feed a lot on here and keep it from bending, but I'm going to just try it this way. Let's see if that works. Don't know where else it's going to go now that it's actually taped to that. Of course, I could have just made it too fat to fit. There we go. So far, so good. There it is. Short work indeed. All right, untape my painter's tape. I'm glad I've got this full thing in this shot so that you know exactly what I'm going through here. So we'll keep that dowel handy in case it comes up that I need it again. We'll keep fishing this down here. All right. Very nice. I like it. And then pass this through, and then there's a Y-ax insert, the connector in the bottom of the shell socket. So down here at the very end, I'm not going to be able to show it to you easily without moving around a lot, but there is a, there is a, like, what is this, like an 8-pin connector that just goes into the base down here, and that should just socket in very easily. Put this in down here. There we go. That fits right in. I have this USB and power connector, which I think that's both going to go to my display. So I'm just going to leave that hanging there for now, but I have plugged in that bottom connector, just like they've told me to. Okay, install the parallel on the slider. Did they want me to go ahead and attach all of these? Install the other two axes the same way. Yeah, I was supposed to do all three of these at the same time. So let's go ahead and take the moment now, and we will go ahead and do the other two. Happy that I did this one. It was already facing up. So let's go ahead. I'm going to carefully rotate this. It's actually pretty stable already. Just being careful. I'm going to set that on top of my mouse because that's careful. Next axis is X. So let me grab the X axis. They are labeled on the motors right up here. So this one's the X, and as we do it, we do like we did last time. We're going to plug in the motor right there. That just seats it in there again. And then here. Right there. And everything sits in nicely again. I'm going to pop in our screws into the holes. I'm going to throw the ones in the bottom too, so we'll be ready to go when I'm done up at the top. All right. Let's go ahead and get all these in here. Check bolts of motor to see if one is free. Like the motor isn't properly installed. Okay, I can check those here. Well, I do see these motors. This motor seems improperly here. That motor is also, yep, that one's good. I think I'll check the other one when I go as well. Thanks for the tip. I think I would have also noticed that when I checked the belts earlier, but I appreciate the extra checking. If other people have had those problems, I don't need to have them. This versus, let's say, the Ender 5 Plus. Ender 5 Plus, a little bit bigger. I'm going to have a little bit more printing space in the X and Y, not in the Z. The Z is the same. But this one definitely should be faster. This Delta printer running Klipper is definitely going to be faster out of the box than an Ender 5 Plus. Ender 5 Plus, to reach these speeds, would need some mods. It's not saying it's not possible. It's just saying it would not be this way out of the box. So I'm just tightening these down properly. All right, let's get the bottom ones. And as Mr. S has pointed out, the Delta just looks cooler. I was mesmerized. I love that last Delta I built so long ago, and I still have it. I actually haven't gotten rid of it because I always said I might get back to this one day, upgrade the electronics, upgrade the cooling. The speed is because it's a Delta. It can go a lot faster, and then you pair that with Klipper, which has all of the compensation for those performance gains. And I think that that's really the combination that makes it go a lot faster. Deltas are rather lightweight movement systems, and they're just moving up and down the rods, which gives it a lot of speed. The little connectors that connect to the print head are usually like carbon fiber, so it's very light, very lightweight usually. All right. And then let's go one more time. It's getting a lot wider with everything on. Okay, same thing. I'll grab the screws up. I have to actually grab the access first. Again, it's easy to tell the way to build this. I mean, the motors go up top, so you can't really put it in the wrong way. Everything is well labeled, so you can't get the access on the wrong corner. And checking this motor. Also, you probably can't see it here extremely well, but there's actually a dampener. They've got a dampener. It's like a cardboard or some sort of fibrous dampener between the motor and the mounting, which is really nice. Probably helps a lot in speed, helps keep it quiet. I like seeing that. Good engineering, thinking about things when you assemble it. Flsun seems like they've done a good job here. Back with our 4 on each end. Absolutely, Jay Connolly. Jay, if you want to send me, it's cork. Jay Connolly says it's cork, the fibrous material I was speaking of. But yeah, Jay, if you want to send me an email, kris@kerseyfabrications.com. I would love to have your print settings that you've already worked out. That would be fantastic. I'd appreciate that. I'd like to see what you've done. And if I use them, I'll be sure to share them. All right, let's get these in here. Again, I'm not tightening these all the way down until I get all 4 in, because they need a bit of movement room to get going. That's okay, Jay. I I hope I don't have to slice anything to get this going. I hope that there's a pre-sliced print on the USB drive. So I shouldn't need them at least until after the stream. But I appreciate you wanting to get those to me. That's awfully nice of you to share. Because I do believe that it would be a little bit more work than usual to come up with some good settings. Delta's a little bit different. Oh, the principles of everything are the same, but you know, speed-wise, I'm sure it's a little bit more work to get everything dialed in. All right, those are in. At the bottom, and we will have the majority of the assembly, I think, pretty much done. I think after that, we've just got the print head and everything to get attached, and the electronics aren't much to add. Cube, a rabbit, and something else he forgot. Fantastic. The suited engineer says, "What are your thoughts on the Flsun Super Racer? Would it be as good as the first? Would it be good as a first Delta printer? I have 4 FDM printers, but I've never owned a Delta." So, yeah, I think the Super Racer. I mean, this is the first Flsun I've owned, but I've obviously kept up a lot with the market. I watch a lot of videos and read a lot of reviews, and I have to say, Flsun, from what I've heard, everyone loves their machines. I can't speak from personal experience. Like I said, it's my first, but I do think that people are generally very happy with their machines. So, as I would tell anyone, do your research. Check out some other channels that may have already checked out the Super Racer and decide whether that's what you want to invest in. I try not to speak based upon other people's reviews other than to say I've read them and here's what my general thoughts of what I've heard. All right, and now we are tightened there. See what's next. Okay. Looks like past the straightened cable. All right, it looks like it's time to stand this up, and then we're going to install the parallel sliders. So let's get it stood up then. I'm going to actually take some of this screws that I haven't used yet. We're going to put those in this bag here so I don't lose anything. I got my tools. Let's stand it up. Ooh, yeah, that's a heavy boy. And it doesn't fit on stream, which is what I pretty much expected. So where'd the Flsun go? You can't see it. It's too tall. I was wondering if I was going to have to raise this camera up before the end of this stream. There we go. So now you can't see what we're doing anymore. I can't really go further back. I can try to go a little bit more up. Let's see. Let's see. See if that makes any difference whatsoever. Well, at least you can kind of see where the top of it is. It's better than nothing. Hidden in the clouds, yes. That's it. This is how big it is. Where did I put that tape measure? It's probably right in front of me. Because I don't usually go all the way to the trouble of putting something up. So, I don't know. Wherever I put it. We'll measure it later. It's not going anywhere, right? I'm just curious now what the heck I did with it. All right. Now, maybe one of you saw where I put it. Because I sure don't. Okay. Let's go ahead and get these out. I'm going to go ahead and start just unpacking some of the extra parts now that we have the large ones out of the way. yeah, so here's the 5 Plus sitting a little bit lower on the back table. This is the Flsun. And then we have some plates here and some more screws that go with these particular plates, which I'm going to kind of keep them together. All right, so they want me to install the parallel on the slider. These look parallel, like as in both ends look the same to me. I don't see any difference. So these are just attached via screws, a spring, so it's spring loaded, and so I just pop that on there. There's actually lubricant in those little holes, so as soon as let me go ahead and show it to you. There's actually lubricant in these little holes, and so as soon as I get this to, there we go. So there's lubricant in these holes, and so as soon as you attach those on those balls, they actually are pre-lubricated and ready to go. That's really nice. I'm going to, basically just pull them apart. Takes a little bit of strength, but not much. Same thing on these. Again, these are carbon fiber rods. They're very light and strong. There we go. Good to go. Hey, Rameline's got a size for us. It's 480 by 435 by 1090, so it is a full meter tall. Thank you so much for finding that out for me. I appreciate that. I'm going to print the Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch as soon as my gold and wood filaments arrive. That is a fantastic model. I've seen that. I forgot who makes that. Maybe you can tell us who makes it, but it is a very nice model. Anyway, I'm going to read the chat and just hang out with you guys instead of actually getting this built. Install the parallel sliders. Then we are going to step 2, or 2 is actually the step in the instructions. Install the effector module with the extruder hood facing forward. Plug the cable into the top shell adapter board. The color of the connectors is corresponding. Okay, so this is where I'll come over here. I will grab the effector. I don't know why it's called an effector. I always thought these were extruders, but okay. And then the front, which front is the fan side, and it would be towards the front, which this is our front here. So I'm going to basically install this the same way we did before, where you just pull it apart as you're attaching it. So I'm going to put one of my ball bearings in one side, and I'll put the other one on the other side and just spread it apart. And again, pre-lubricated. You kind of see the grease slip out there as you get everything tightened up. Just being careful, not in a hurry. I want to make sure that I do this right the first time, so I don't have to pull it back apart. And same thing here. There we go. It's that easy. No screws, no mess. As these move around, you see it move. So, very nice. Emmerman made the Holy Hand Grenade, I suppose. There we go. Okay, so and then after we're done with that, we come up here and we are going to color code these things into the right sockets. We have blue goes to blue. Yellow goes to yellow. Actually, the big one, we're going to plug in the big one. Big one's a white one. That's only one of them. We have, again, the yellow goes into yellow. There are 2 black plugs. Those are going to be to both of our cooling fans. So those should be wired in parallel. So it shouldn't matter which plug we plug either of those into. And then we have another white one. And then we have a red one. All of them plugged in here. Let me see if I can get you a close-up view here. I think you see what I'm looking at. Maybe, maybe, maybe not. Maybe, maybe not. A little bit. You can see a little bit of what we're dealing with here. Not a lot of light up in this area, but anyway, here is the fan connectors, everything that goes down to the hot end. I left a little bit of a curl and left a little bit of a curl in my connector here. I think that'll actually keep everything nicer. If there's a bit of a curl in here, it'll act a little bit more as a spring rather than if I would have straightened it out. At least that's what I'm telling you now that it's already done that way. Let's see. All right. Take out the filament detection sensor. That was in its own bag. I remember seeing it. Where did it go? Oh, this was this thing. Filament detection sensor. Connect the filament detector filament detector wire, snap it below the bracket slot. Okay, so I'll figure this out. I'm sure I can. I'm a smart guy. At least that's what I tell myself. All right, so the filament detector switch goes into the hole marked as such, and then there should be somewhere. I'm actually trying to figure out how this filament detector even works. How does this work, guys? Oh, okay, there's a bit of a thing there. Oh, okay, so, all right, that's kind of neat. See, this is where the filament comes out. Right next to that is apparently right next to that, it somehow slots in. This one's clever. This one's clever. I see how it works. I'm not seeing exactly how to install it. So I don't even see how this picture is showing it. Is there a bracket I need? Aha! It's the bracket. That's what I didn't realize. There's a little bracket part right here. And that's how you break it. But I'm going to try not to. So do you install the bracket first or after? So what the hell's this then? Huh. Okay, so what is this then? This is the level switch. Okay, this is not the filament detection switcher. This is the level switch, so this is at least plugged in. This is the filament detector, which is a completely different part than the level switch because it's apparently late. And anyway, this is the level switch. And looking at it again, this is the wire right here for the filament detector. And so we get that plugged in here. And then this plugs in around the wiring harness, which keeps the wiring all nice and tight. Looks like we can snap that in. Yep, that snaps in here, which is really, really nice. Sorry about the lack of lighting here. And then this whole thing slides in the top. Once you can get it in there just right. There it goes. And then these slide in the back here. I'll get it. Didn't know I would need lighting facing up this evening. I apparently have gotten something stuck at this point. There it goes. I'll get it. This is the exciting part of a live build that I don't usually have too many problems with. But apparently I've done a good job of getting myself stuck here. Huh. Okay. Okay, that was me taking a second to compose myself as I get this out of here. Okay. Doesn't really fit in as well as I would hope it would. I'm going to end up breaking this little plastic piece if I'm not careful. This is not the most obvious install part here. Oh, I see what I'm doing wrong. I expected it to go in a lot further than it does. So I think I've got it now. Let's see. You know what I'm going to need? I'm going to need a light before I'm done. Grab my phone. Plentiful flashlights. It just doesn't slot that great. At least mine is not. I think something is bent a little bit, so let me check out this connector, see if I can spread it out a little bit. Yeah, flip it 180. What? No, that won't work. That won't work. Why is that slot just tighter than it should be? Do I have a little spur? Or that's something that's supposed to lock it in, one or the other. It is kind of in the way. Because one side is going in a lot better than the other side is. Yeah, I see what's going on. I need to spread that connector out a little bit. Let me grab a screwdriver. Spread out this peg a little bit because I think it's too tight to fit in that hole. Should just require just a little bit. You know, it's what you get sometimes with molded parts. Sometimes they're just tighter. You don't have always the same tolerance that you need. Let's try this again. Man, did not think that this would be the hard part of this build. I'm going to work through it. It's let's give you the both shots just so that you can see me struggle, because that's the fun part of watching a live stream, right? Almost got it. I can feel it. Yeah, I've just about got it this time. Okay, let's see if I can get it the rest of the way. There we go. Okay. Woo! It was going to not be my night. And I think I dislodged the filament runout sensor. There we go. Okay. All right. Let's give you a good look at it. That was a pain, but there you go. Boom. Proper lighting. So these have to fit in on the back. These have to fit in on the front. And then you have to make sure that none of your wiring came undone in the process. Otherwise, something's going to be bad. It looked like all my wiring is still fine. I have to make sure, yeah, I think this is good. And again, this here, this cable slots in and just tightens up there. Okay. Okay. What's number one rule of 3D printing? Patience. I like it. I like that. I'll take that. All right. So that's in there. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully I didn't dislodge anything. We'll have to do some double checks. Make sure all of our fans work. Everything heats up properly. Definitely want to make sure that with all of that finagling that I didn't lose any connectivity. Okay. Yeah, there's whole instructions here on how to get this bracket in, but it didn't help me a whole lot. Okay, take out the filament holder and two M4x8s. Filament holder, two M4x8s. And we are going to assemble the filament holder. So it's going to go on top of the machine like this. This is going to go on here like this. A little bit different of a filament holder. Let me see, I should have the correct. Yep. All right, we're going to assemble this. And then we're going to pretend I'm tall. Just tighten this up. All right. And then this goes on the top. Install the filament holder on the top of the printer, paying attention to the installation direction. Doesn't tell me what screws to use. I'm going to assume it's two more of these M4 by 8s. We're going to assume. It doesn't say so specifically though. And then we have to install these top covers. Okay, let's do all of that. Yeah, I'm sure there's an easy way to do this, right guys? Oh good, all right, let's just, you know. That is way easier just to do that than any conceivable stupid way I would have done it otherwise. So, filament holder over here. Take some of these, again, M4x8s. We're going to assume that the filament holder goes towards the middle, since that's where the PTFE tube is. We're just going to attach it here. Even if the view count for this video isn't through the roof, the printer itself is. You know, Brian, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Oh, don't worry. Even if the live streams aren't attended live a ton, the people that show up and watch these afterwards is usually pretty good. Plus, everyone likes checking out the prints on other socials. And that always happens. All right, I'm going to grab these screws, and we have to rotate this cable. I don't think I got it. Yeah, okay. And then I think all three of these are exactly the same, and we have to tighten these down on the tops here. Just making sure that, particularly on this one where we ran the wire down it, that we don't crimp it. Make sure everything is moving still before you over tighten anything, because we sure don't want to mess up the wiring at this stage of the game. Don't actually know why these don't come pre-installed on here. I mean, one of them obviously shouldn't, but the other one should, since there's nothing going on these particular corners. Well, thanks for coming by, Rameline. I understand it is late where you are. Thanks for coming, and it was good to see you tonight. Appreciate you coming by. Have a good night's rest. Catch the rest in the morning. It will be here available for you. This is great morning entertainment with your breakfast. So feel free to come back. Okay. That is it. Connect the two cables to the pad and put the pad on the holder, and we are done. Fan-freaking-tastic. Again, like I said, all these extra things here are extra things. We've already done our voltage. Let's get this back on the table, because that's going to be fun. Down is always easier than up, right? They do have to tell me about bed leveling, since this thing apparently you just attach as needed, but we'll come back to that, I'm sure. So here is, we've already done the voltage selector. It is at 115. We will get the pad, and we'll get our stand for the pad. Let me go ahead and pull these off over here, since we won't be needing much of these, if at all. Snips, I've got snips. Won't need the screwdriver, so we will just stash this stuff away here. I get coffee. All right, I stay a few minutes. ADHD here. Very nice, very nice. I appreciate you staying, but you know, you take care of yourself. Would never encourage anyone to not get a good night's sleep for a 3D printer live stream. I think it will be up and running soon. There is the beautiful pad. I think I'm going to keep this bag it came in for protection. It does run Klipper bin. Yes, indeed. So I take this long cable here, and we plug in one here, and we plug, I guess, one of these into the USB port. Doesn't matter which USB port. Hopefully not, because they don't say any particular thing. All right. So obviously I need to face this towards the camera, although that's not going to matter a whole lot once we get going. What I love about this pad, though, is that I can take it over here and I can work on it while I'm showing you, and then I can put it back over there, even though the front is facing towards you guys. It's kind of a nice feature. So I'm going to grab my plug. I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. It was on. It was on. I almost plugged it in. So always look out. Make sure your plug is off before you get going. Bed leveling. Take out the leveling switch. Install the leveling switch according to the direction of the photo. Plug it into the top. Okay. So there is a place to plug in the leveling switch. It looks like it plugs in. I'll figure it out. That is the back. Yeah, it looks like it plugs in on the back. So yeah, there it is. There's a magnetic thing. I'm going to show it to you because I think this is pretty important for anyone who gets this printer. Look at there. All right, so there is the plug. Get it to focus on my hand. So right here, this is the connector. And then there's a magnetic port right there on the back. And then this is the little switchy switch here that will level the bed for us. Okay. Super easy, I agree. I'm not unhappy with such an easy solution. And since it is not needed all the time, particularly when you're printing, you are saving a lot of weight by not carrying that around with you, which I'm pretty sure is the point. So that's nice. Right now I'm just getting this ready to go because I know you guys are going to see it print properly. There we go, that should be good. All right, so first printing, we're going to do some bed calibration. So let's see if it comes on. Grab my stand here. So stand. Something like that, supposedly. Close enough. If that's not right, I'll figure it out later. Maybe just, it's adjustable, let's put it that way. There it is. So, nice adjustable stand. I am going to show you the first turn on. So I am going to put this over here so that you can see it turn on. It's a big machine. So let's see if you can see it. We always like to make sure that if it smokes, we get it on film. So, boom. Let's cut it on. Pretty quiet. There's the Flsun. Booting system. It is going to take a second to boot because it is a Klipper system. It's not as fast as Marlin to get to printing, but it does look like it's booting okay. And we're up and going. Fantastic, right? Let me go ahead and get my build plate, since I didn't want to forget that. It doesn't really matter what the front is. I'm going to just put this towards me for convenience this evening, since I have the Klipper display hanging out that direction. Trying to get it lined up. It would have been nice if they had some sort of aligning pins or something. But there's the build plate. And the first thing we need to do, I'm going to move this over where you can see it properly. That looks pretty good, right? All right. So we're going to do configuration. Let me pull this back away from the bed just a little bit because I don't know exactly how far this is going to connect to it. I don't want to run into it. There we go. I'm just realizing I don't know what I did with my light that I usually keep over here because it's usually right over here to light things up nicely. But I do want to make sure that we have proper lighting over here. So give me 2 seconds. I don't want you guys to miss out. I know you're waiting for this, but I'm going to get some semblance of some proper lighting so that you can see what we're doing. Keeping the production value up even if I'm stalling. There we go. That should be pretty good. I have plenty of little key lights around here. There we go. Perfect. Definitely going to help a little bit. Okay. Good enough. Good enough for government work. And let's do some leveling. You have a wide shot to see exactly what it's doing from the wide shot. Let me make sure that this is kind of tucked in here. I don't want these wires to get in the way. Okay, let's do some leveling. They say bed level, and then calibrate. Please plug the leveling switch before auto leveling. That has been done, and we continue. As you can see, it's going up. It's going to find the end stops, which are at the tops. And those are optical end stops, so you're not going to hear any clicking or anything. Now it's going to come back down here to the bottom. They do so Connolly is telling me to preheat. It does have a big ass issue from cold to hot. All right. So he said I should have preheated, so maybe we'll do this twice. Not a big deal. I do like the look of that. That's nice. Thank you, Ben. You are correct. They don't level the bed. They calculate the plane of the bed. I might need a ladder. No, I don't think I'll need a ladder to load the filament. I think I'll be able to get up there. Not a big deal. All right, let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and do heated bed. Set temp. Let's go ahead and get it up to 60 or so. And we'll watch it climb right there. I love the interface. The interface is very nice, very intuitive. I've never used it before, but it was very easy to figure out that all you have to do is click on it. Let me go ahead and pick a filament. I have orange, I have red, I have pink. I have glittery blue and purple. So let's go ahead. I'm going to start a poll. I think I'm going to start a poll. Start a poll. We're going to see filament. Filament. Hopefully I'm spelling everything right. And we're going to say blue / purple glitter. We're going to say pink. We're going to say orange. Brands here I'm not too concerned about. The brand will be whatever, and you guys end up picking. Those are good enough options. Let's go and ask you guys which one you want to go with while we're starting up here. Everyone vote in the poll. Let me know what you're thinking. The printer's so dark. Actually, there's a light on this thing, so we'll light it up when we get going. We'll close that up. It is still heating. Let's see how we turn on the light. Let's see if we can figure out the light button configuration. Settings. Oh, look, it is scrollable. That's nice. I wasn't actually sure if that was going to work. Let's see. Network, system. Okay, that's just for updating, system shutdown, restart, that kind of thing. What does this one do? It takes us here, temperature. How do you turn on the light? I know it's got lights on the bottom. I've seen them. How do we get those turned on? Actions? Actions. There's a light. LED on. Oh yeah. LED on. We got the LEDs. Check those out. That's going to be really nice. Also, if you'll notice, the Flsun logo up here actually lights up. And that is also configurable. You can turn the logo off, or you can turn the logo on. You can turn those LEDs off, or you can turn the LEDs on. I'm going to leave them on for now. Love it. These are really nice, you know, nice features to have. Like it. Okay. We should be just about heated up now. Yep, we're almost at 60, so bed is heated. Let's do that leveling configuration one more time. Calibrate, continue. All right, let's do this one more time. Sorry you missed the build, Hybrid Robotics. I really am, but you can always go back and watch it. It's not going anywhere. So be sure to, you know, hang out, catch it later. But you haven't missed the good part. Let me see. I think we're going to be ready to print after that. First printing. Bed level. Okay, so this is the calibration. And then after we calibrate, we need to do a mesh. Okay, cool, cool, cool. All this is in the manual. I'm reading the manual, and that's how I know what the heck I'm doing. We'll let it get to the center there. Don't know why it's got to completely rehome, but okay. I'm going to let it go all the way back up to the top. Okay. Then we're going to, what's that? Klipper has disconnected. Why has Klipper disconnected? Anyone want to tell me why? Oh, well, it's back. But we've rebooted, I'm pretty sure. So let's start over one time. Apparently I screwed something up. Again, there may be a firmware update for here that I haven't done. So maybe that's a fix. All right, no big deal. Let's just do that bed level again. We will do that calibrate one more time. Don't know why it rebooted. Sorry, Ben. This man reads manuals. I have my entire life, and it has always served me well, sir. I am a manual reader. Well, let's do this calibration one more time, and then we'll get a mesh real quick. If it resets after that part again, I'll assume that it just does that. And if so, then we will go on to the mesh afterwards. Okay. That makes sense. I wasn't watching the first time, so if it reconnected the first time, I missed that. So, sorry about that if that was the case. Okay. So, apparently that's just a thing it does because it has to save the settings. It is Klipper. I forgot about that part. So, Klipper, yep, okay. So, it is doing a restart because it had to save settings. That's a Klipper thing. Not a big deal. But then it comes back to here, but we do have to set up that temp one more time. We don't want to forget to do that. And then while it's doing that, we can do a configuration, we can do a bed level, and we will do a bed mesh. I'm curious to see how fast the mesh is here. It will be interesting to see. It's going to do a bed mesh. You are absolutely right, Ben. That's what it's doing. It is saving it each time. I forgot that's a Klipper thing that you have to deal with. But it's going to do a mesh for us real quick. remove the leveling. Okay, so we're doing the bed mesh. And then we're going to remove the leveling switch and disconnect the connector after the bed mesh is finished. And then we're going to move to Z. Okay. So easy enough leveling routine. No complaints. Again, if you are if you're watching and you haven't clicked like, please take care of that for me while we are going through the slower parts of this video. You can click that like button for me. It will help a lot. If you're on social medias and you want to share the stream and get some more people in here, that will be fantastic, and I appreciate it. Yeah, and this is moving. It's not super slow. Quick question, is the leveling assist a micro switch? Yes, it is. There's a little magnetic micro switch that's on the bottom here, and it's clicking away as it goes through. But we don't want to skip this step for sure, because I would guess it probably didn't come with any sort of mesh. It may have, but we can count on that. We about got it. Probably so, and then it's going to reboot one more time. Okay. It is rehomed. It is rebooting. And, okay. Let's go ahead. We're going to keep that bed heated up while we already have it. It'll save us some time later. It says now we go ahead and remove the switch. So I'm going to remove the plug. I'm going to remove the magnetic switch from the bottom. That moved a little bit, by the way. Whatever. All right, now it says that we come in here and we configure bed level. And it says we move Z0. It says, please remove the leveling switch before move to Z0. We're going to say continue. And it is rehoming, and then it's going down. And then it says we need some paper. Of course we do. Why wouldn't we? I got paper from another printer. Brian, good night, sir. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you sticking around. Thank you very much. So it says that is the Z0. And then we're going to take a sheet of paper. This is a little thick, but it's what I have. It is a sheet from another printer. I'm going to place it under the nozzle, click Calibrate Z. We're going to move Z plus, Z minus to adjust the nozzle height. So there's slight friction when pushing the A4 paper slowly. This time, the distance between the nozzle and the hotbed is most suitable. Click the back button to return to the home screen. So, Z. So we're going to Z calibrate. And we just choose how far we want to move up and down. We're going to start with the half. I think that's probably a good place to start. And we just go down. Very responsive. It's a great touchscreen, to be honest. That's too close. Too close. Okay. Let's go to the 0.01 here. I'm going to get a little bit more friction because it's a very thin sheet. It's a slightly thick sheet of paper. I think I'm okay with that. Yeah, we'll go with that. There we go. Boom. And then we click the back button to return to the home page. Back, and it says it will save automatically. Leveling data is saved automatically, and effector does not go home. Okay. Then we are going to load some filament. What has won? The blue-purple filament has won, it appears. So we're going to end the poll. Let's go and grab that blue-purple filament I have. It is Stronghold 3D Mirror Chrome PLA Wizard Voodoo Purple. That is some Wizard filament. You guys have chosen well. So let's go ahead and we're gonna go and heat up here. Let's go and back off. Back. I'd rather not be right on the bed when I do this. So homing, we're gonna just go ahead and let it home. It'll make it a little bit easier to load this up. And then I'm going to get this snipped off. Okay. Cut at an angle as always. All right. And we'd obviously not heated up on the nozzle yet. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. We're going to set temp. I'll just set it to a nice 200. Should be fine for loading. I have heard the fan cut on, so that's good. Now, if I had a little bit more time and wasn't kind of in a hurry, I probably would take some time to make sure that the cooling fans and everything cut on, but we're going to kind of hope everything goes to plan. I'm going to fit this up here where you can't see it. I can feel for that PTFE tube. That's going to go straight down into there. And then I did click straight into the filament runout sensor, and the blue light cut on, telling me it did detect it. Then, you know what, you can't really see this that well. Let me turn it a little bit to the side. That's the wrong way. Okay, so comes out the top here. Boom, I'm just not happy. I'm not happy unless I'm giving you a good view. There we go. So, came out the top, went into the filament runout sensor, came out the hole in the filament runout sensor. Then it comes into the second PTFE tube, straightening it out a little bit. That's going to go down into here. And then, I bet you there's a load. Action, extrude temperature on the screen, set the nozzle temperature above 180, which we've already done. Return to the extrude interface, push filament down while hitting extrude or load. All right. So, there we go. Yeah, I'm going to show you the interface. Let's show you the interface instead. I think that's the way to go here. Okay. Let's see. We've already done temperature. We've got it set to something we like. Actions. Extrude. I'm going to say load while pushing down on it. Load. And that did grab it without any problems. And you can see it dripping down there. And it is loading correctly. Right there. Loading right there. All right. That is really, really cool. That worked really well. No complaints at all. That was a super easy loading process. I'm going to let that drip for a minute. And then we are going to grab our U-disc, as they call it apparently in China. Grab that U-disc. It does have a nice little, check that out. It's got a nice little keychain. I'm going to put that on there. Helps it keep up with it. We're going to plug that in here. Guess I can pull this way. Plug it into the side. Boom. Okay. There we go. And then we're going to go ahead and clean up all this stuff now that it's done dripping. Let's see what we can print. we're going to just go print. Refresh maybe? There it goes. USB disk. This button. Test models. This button. We have the knurling bolt and nut. We have a 20 millimeter calibration cube. We have an overhang test, and we have a rabbit. So the cube, the bolt, the overhang test, or the rabbit. Let's see what you guys want. We're going to keep this one short, so vote quickly. Cube, bolt, overhang, or rabbit. Ask the community. Place your bets. Tell me what you guys want me to print. And then once we've picked one, we will get going. I think we'll be ready to go after that. I think the rest of it has to do with online printing, has how to add your printer to Cura, that kind of stuff. We can go talk about that in a minute. What you guys up for? Everybody vote in the poll. We got 40 people in here. Let's get a lot of people voting. Let me know what you want to see. It is, for the most part, I know what I want to see. I kind of was going to go for the bolt. I love the functional test print right out of the box. I think the functional test print where it's going to print a nut and a bolt and you actually get to see whether they actually screw together. So I'm influencing the vote here a little bit. I would love to see the nut and bolt, but I'm not going to stop you guys from telling me what you'd rather see. The cube obviously would take no time at all. I don't know which ones of these are actually going to take any time at all. We might do the cube afterwards if the first print doesn't take too long. But let me know. We've only got half of the people voting right now. Right now the rabbit is winning. So if you don't want to see the rabbit, you need to vote. Bob voted for the bolt. So I'm giving you guys a couple more minutes. If the bolt pulls ahead, I'm probably going to end it real quick so that I win. Yep, that's what we were. That's kind of ship I run. It's popular vote, but you know, a lot of fans of the rabbit. Hey, I'll tell you, if I don't get to your favorite print, I will go through all of them after the stream and post them on socials. That is my promise to you. I will print every one of them, post them on socials if I don't get to print yours live on the stream. But it does look like the rabbit's going to win. So I'm going to go ahead and close this up. We're going to go with the rabbit. I think my daughter's probably voting. That must be what's going on with the rabbit here. She would totally go for the rabbit. Okay. Ending the poll. It is a wabbit. So we're going to do the wabbit. It's going to be a very colorful rabbit. So that's cool. All right, let's give it a shot. First printing, we got the Hwy disc in there, and we pick a print, and we're just going to go for it. All right, so we're going to say rabbit. You got to press this button, and it says that's what we're going to print. Do we want to do it? I'm going to say yes. And then we're going to go, we're going to zoom in. So you've got the wide shot still. Do you still have the wide shot? No, you don't. They give you the wide shot also. So it's going fast. Pulling the filament with it. So it is printing a priming line, which looks like I got the height really nice. We're going to move this out of the way. It's not going to do you guys any good to see that right now. It's printing a nice base. Still not happy with the lighting here. Let me see if I can help you guys with the lighting a bit. A minute. I always have to do this. I don't know why I don't ever prep properly for the lighting. You think I would after all this time. But I can set up pretty quick and get the light closer. Okay. We will speed this up, but I do want to get that first layer going well. I smell this one. It is printing, by the way, it is 210 on the nozzle. It is 60 on the bed. I will have you a light in 2 seconds. Okay. I'm going to move this way. Shouldn't be in your way. And make sure I've got plenty of light on here. There we go. Should help out. Is the light not still on the bottom either? That's what happened. Let me see if I can get that light on. Light. LED on. LED on. There's the light. So there's the lights on it. Those are turned on now. Boom! I don't know if that helped or not. What do you think? Is that too much? It's probably too much for the live stream. Turn the LED off. Okay. Don't really need to adjust the bed. It's working fine. Print volume is 300 circumference by 400 tall. There he goes. I know you guys are going to want to go faster, because I know you. Everyone's like, faster, faster! This is the sound. It's quiet. I'm going to keep my head out of here so it doesn't, catch me. It's very quiet. Oh, there we go. Don't need to go faster. It's going to go faster all by itself. A little bit louder. Those part cooling fans turn up, which is what I would expect it to do. Remeline wants to see it against the CR6 Max. I think this will smoke it speed-wise. Thank you, Jay, for that Cura profile. I will take a look at it. Oh, wow. Check that out. Love it. Love watching a Delta print. Smoking it. This is stock firmware. It comes with Klipper, and it is quite speedy. I'm trying to get it in a... There it goes. Check that out. Yeah, this is the first print, and I haven't even sped it up. This is stock printing speed. Good layer lines on here. Let me back it up a little. You can see it move. Does it support ADXL out of the box? Is that the accelerometer? Is that what you're talking about with ADXL? If so, as far as I know, there's no accelerometer plug-in on this printer. Yeah, fancy gyro infill because it's fun to watch a... Well, you're hearing it. It's fun to watch, you know, gyro infill. I'll get right next to it with my mic so that you can hear how loud it is. The loudest thing on it is the fan. I mean, it's, you know, the motion makes a little bit of sound because it's moving. Keep in mind, I'm right next to it. I don't know what you're hearing, but this is right next to the machine. Layer lines look absolutely fantastic. Jay Connolly says he doesn't hear it when he's not in the room, even with the door open. Ben says you can use a USB ADXL. Television says it does not come with the accelerometer board, but you can add one. Is the frame set up so it would be easy to put panels on it to enclose it for printing ABS? Mr. S has to go. Enjoy the rest of the system, or the rest of the stream. Thank you, Mr. S, for coming. I appreciate you dropping in this evening. Could you sleep with this? Let me get further back from the printer. Let me think what I think about the noise. I hear it printing. I wouldn't want to sleep with it in the room, but it wouldn't bother me if it was in an adjacent room while I was watching TV. The fans are a little loud, but not too bad. Jay Connolly says there's a kit made for the printer for a nice enclosure. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of open extrusion here. It'd be pretty easy to add an enclosure to it. The only thing I would want to do if I was going to enclose it, there are open vents at the top that lead into the electronics enclosure. I would want to make sure that if I was going to enclose it, I would do something to make sure that the hot air that's rising was not going into the electronics enclosure. So whether that was putting an artificial top on it, just putting some sort of fan system that blew the air that rose all the way to the top out, I would just take that into consideration. But putting panels on it would be pretty simple. And, you know, Jay Connolly's saying that there are already mods for the vents. So there you go. You could, if you wanted to do that, I'd probably end up putting some fan holes at the top of the enclosure that vented up, and then just cover the ones on the bottom and not worry about it. That's what I would do off the top of my head. This is still flying. I mean, it's really, really moving. Yeah. Television's pointing out that this printer's been out for a while, and there's a lot of great community mods for it. So keep that in mind. Check it out. I mean, if you're thinking about buying this machine, if this is interesting you now that you're seeing it live, look at what the community's already done. Answer a lot of your questions before you buy it. See what the community's done, and then come back here and make sure you follow my affiliate links to purchase one. That would be a huge help, and it would be fantastic. So again, I am not endorsing you that you purchase one. You take a look at this live stream, take a look at other reviews that you can find on Amazon, and if you decide you want one, my links are available, and that $40 discount is available to purchase it direct from Flsun. So, as always, these live streams are for your education, for you to see new products, and Flsun provided this because they cared about my audience, and so I appreciate them sending this over. It's this is a printer I've had eyes on for a while. I did not approach them, though. They approached me. So I appreciate Flsun caring about my viewers. I mean, I'll talk about it more when I see the final print, but as of right now, I don't really see anything I don't like about it. I can't even complain about the build volume. The build volume is massive. I mean, it's the height of a Ender 5 Plus, but with the speed, like, you're not getting an Ender 5 Plus this fast without new boards, new kinematics. It's going to take a lot to get this kind of speed out of an Ender 5 Plus. So, looks great. Jay Conley says he endorses it. Use his link. It's good. Bamboo Lab full printer is a step up from this, but this is better than the P1P. Okay. I would agree that I'd rather have, okay, I have to be honest, I don't have a Bamboo. I don't have any Bamboo Lab printer. They've never contacted me. But personally, sight unseen, I'd rather have this than a Bamboo Labs. I love the form factor. I love that it's a Delta. I love that it's serviceable. My biggest problem with the Bamboo Labs, I will still say, is the nightmares that I've seen when anyone has to do anything major to service the machine. It bothers me. This machine, as you saw at the beginning of this video, really easy to service. The whole thing comes apart very easily. You can take off the panels with just like, 6 screws. You could replace boards. You could upgrade boards. I really like, if you care about being able to do maintenance and do mods, this is a better machine than a Bamboo Labs. Just, you know, like I said, I don't have one. I've ever used one. I'm just commenting on the parts that are not the print experience. The diameter of the build plate, Stephen, is 300 millimeters. And this one does come with Klipper on it. This thing's just flying still. I'm really impressed with the print speed. Don't know what they have it set to. I don't really have any reason to go any faster. Does it have an active speed? Yeah, so I forgot. Klipper does have an active speed on the screen. I always forget about this. Let me bring it in here. Maybe you can see what it's doing a little bit. Focus is going to be hard with them being this far apart. But you can see here it does hit 400. I saw it hit 400 once or twice. It's staying up in the 200s quite a bit. Does slow down to the like 40s every now and then when it hits certain parts or when it has to slow down. But it does hit 400 several times during the print. And I've seen it a couple of times. Whether you'll catch it, can't make any promises, but I've seen it hit it. It's still hovering, probably averaging between 200 and 300. I'm glad everyone's agreeing with my mod information. I think that that's important. If you do want to mod a printer, if you do want to be able to service a printer, something like this is still a better option than a Bamboo Labs. If you want to have to rely on support, if you want to just have a printer that's ready to go out of the box without any modifications, then obviously the top of the line Bamboo Labs is probably a better machine, but more expensive than what you're going to pay for this one. I'm going to be printing on this a lot. I will tell you, one of my next steps after this live stream is cleaning up my garage, keeping the printers I want to print, I want to use as daily machines, and then get rid of the rest of them. I want to be getting rid of a lot of machines to local charities, schools, maker clubs, robotics clubs. I'm going to be giving away a lot of my older machines that are sitting in my basement graveyard. This is going to be one that is going to be kept around. I'm going to use the crap out of it. And I will let you know first thing if it dies, if I have any problems with it. You will see it on my social medias because that's what I do. And I will otherwise plan on keeping this as a daily driver until I have any problems with it. So there you go. The Big Fut, I agree with you. If I can't service it, I'm very much not inclined to get one. Anyway, this thing is flying. And I mean, I'm going to show you the finished piece, but the layer lines are just, I mean, you guys chose like glittery color change filament, which is going to hide some of the layer lines. We have to say that first all. But like, I don't see any layer lines at all on this print so far. Jay Connolly says, grease the rails. Grease the rails every 2 weeks. Good to know. Rooster, I still need to get back to the Go 6. I will be honest with you. I have not used it since that live stream. It's not the Go 6's fault. It was priorities. So the Go 6 is not dead, and I'm going to actually be coming back to it. So pay attention to my socials. I will be posting more info about the Go 6 because I actually need to print some filaments that need an enclosure, and I'm going to be using the Flying Bear Go 6 for that purpose. I have some very specific needs for the Go 6. So for the foreseeable future, I'm keeping it around the shop because it is enclosed. So. Keep an eye out if you were interested in the Go 6. But I've got some, I want to print some polycarbonate. The one that broke my Ender 5 Plus, I still have that print that I need to do. So I'm going to print that polycarbonate on the Go 6 and we're going to see how it does. I'm going to zoom in here. I know you guys have been watching a little bit here and there. So let me go ahead. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. Wrong way. There you go. Check out those non-existent layer lines. Television said I did add a 0.6 nozzle to my 400. I probably will too. I don't see me keeping the 4mm nozzle, the 0.4mm nozzle on the 400. I will probably be adding a 6 to this one also. It's too big of a machine. I'm going to be printing like big cosplay parts on it. There's no reason to keep a 4 on here unless I was doing some serious detailed pieces, but I'll probably be adding a 6 to it as well. It is fast. It is fast. I don't know what this rabbit's going to look like because I don't know what I'm looking at there. Maybe it's belly button. I'm not sure. Jay Connolly says he's just waiting for his .04 to wear out. His .4 to wear out. Hope you guys are enjoying the stream tonight. I appreciate all of you that have stuck around to see this. I expect a lot of people. If I'm talking to you and it's tomorrow, thanks for watching the replay of this live stream. I hope that you are enjoying the replay. We're about almost at the 2.5 hour mark. Print's looking fantastic. Thanks for watching on the replay. Apparently the X is just an X. Good to know. Television wants to comment that it's been a great community. That's something he looks for in a printer. So the community for this printer has been very nice. I'm glad to hear that. How much detail is lost in a 0.6? Very, very little. If you think about it, you're talking about a 0.4 hole versus a 0.6 hole, and the diameter of a 0.2, you know, you've lost 0.2 of a diameter. So very, very little. Unless you're printing super detailed parts or super small parts, you're not going to see the difference between a 0.4 and a 0.6. Jay Connolly agrees that the V400 people are cool. But you have to remember on the Facebook page, only people have only people that have issues post. People with good printers never really post it, and that's true. That's true on pretty much anything on the internet. The only people that complain, or the only people that post, are someone that has something to complain about. You can. The question is, I thought detail was more related to motion than to nozzle size. Yes and no. Obviously, if you move too fast without compensation, you're going to have motion problems that will compromise quality. Nozzle size will matter a little bit, but again, it depends on how sharp your corners have to be, how fast you're printing. There's a lot that goes into it, but again, from a 0.4 to a 0.6, you're only adding 50% to the diameter of a circle. It's not very much. It's looking good. Looking very, very good. I bet we're getting close to this. One thing to keep in mind when you're printing with a 0.4, you do need to redo your settings. I talked about this in my last Ender 5 Plus video, which had the ExoSlide extruder. Keep in mind you do need to recalibrate your, particularly your retraction settings, particularly your priming settings. Anytime you increase the size of your nozzle, those settings are going to change. You're going to get more oozing and more stringing, typically with a larger nozzle. So keep that in mind. Don't expect your 0.4 settings to work with your 0.6 or your 0.8. It does require a little bit of tuning, but as long as you're prepared for that, then you are fine. Still going well. Looks like we're getting to the ear area. What I'd love to do on this machine, now that you're talking about height Atticus, is I'd love to put a 0.8 nozzle on it, or even a 1, and print just a beautiful giant vase on it, just really fast. That would be a lot of fun. I'm going to have to get me some, like I said, I do believe that this is a volcano nozzle, so I'll have to get me some of the larger nozzles. I would probably give a message to P3D, Performance 3D, the folks I like to use for nozzles, and we'll see if I can get a volcano nozzle for them. I'm not sure if they sell one. I'm going to have to find out. And then I can tell you how that goes. Let me go through the manual. The rest of the manual, we've got, so you can save to USB. You can save a UFP file if you want a preview image. First printing, right click, start printing. You can actually print from the web because it does have online printing. We'll get that set up to my Wi-Fi, and I will promise I will use that, particularly if there's a Cura plugin for their online printing. Well, it's Klipper, so since it's Klipper, I know there's a Cura plugin, so I will definitely get this plugged into my Wi-Fi. Then they say about how you use the web interface. They do tell a little bit about how to adjust the nozzle height if you're too close or too far. I can say, one sheet of paper, little dragging. My first layer went down fantastic. I mean, we've got this prime line in front, and it looks great. And that first layer went great. Great. Yes, out of the box, it has Wi-Fi. And television says that the web GUI is awesome. It's got all of the information. Let's see. Cura 4.13.1 or newer, most likely. Follow these directions to replace the original configuration file. So it actually comes with a JSON file for the definition for the printer. So it has everything we need to set up Cura for this printer. So then once you do that, you can just add a Flsun V400. So it comes with all the files on the U-Disk. I'm looking forward to seeing how easy that is to set up. That sounds great. So looking forward to using this. Looking forward to getting everything set up. I am definitely a person that uses the web interfaces to pretty much all of my printers. Not every one of my printers has it, but obviously with Klipper printers, they have a web interface natively. With my Marlin printers, I can easily throw a Pi on there because I still have a bunch of Pis that I've had for a while for just doing that. So I can throw Pis on there for my Marlin printers with some web-based printing, and I always print directly from Cura. I very rarely need to take SD cards to my printers unless it just doesn't offer it. And yes, Connolly, I will be checking for those profiles that you sent me. I appreciate that. And we are doing well here. We are 90% done. Let me back off again. So, hopefully that camera doesn't fall there. Yep, I knew it was. Haha. Okay. There we can see it as it finishes. Looking good, 92%. Now, Connolly, do you mind if I share those with others? Do you mind? I appreciate you sending them to me. Do you mind if I put them in this video description or other video descriptions in the future? Can I put those on my share? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I will make sure that Jay Connolly gets credit for those. Thank you so much. I just realized you've lost the top of the print that's actually printing. There we go. That's about as wide as we get. There we go. You got everything there. Rooster says this would be a great printer for the Iron Man armor. Yes, it would. I think that this will be particularly nice for printing thighs and arms and, you know, potentially even, yeah, I mean, my foot should fit on here. I mean, the only thing I don't think I'll print on here is like my chest piece. I've got some 400 by 400 print beds over here that I will probably be using for that kind of thing. Arms and legs will be fantastic on here. And fast, right? I know Frankly Built, if you follow his channel, I'm pretty sure he uses his Flsun V400 all the time for armor. So I have on good authority that this is a good printer for printing armor pieces. And keep in mind, given the fact that this thing comes with a all-metal hot end and the bimetal heat break, this thing should be able to print like almost everything that doesn't need an enclosure out of the box. Like if you can get nylon to stick to this plate, if you could get different kinds of like just what am I thinking? Carbon fiber reinforced PETG, for example. This thing could be a beast at printing some of those higher temp, higher impact resistant filaments out of the box for a little bit more oomph to your armor. I'm going to be talking about that in the future when I'm going to be printing my armor out of. You guys know I'm a little bit extra when it comes to how I do things. So I don't think I'm going to be printing it in PLA+, but you guys are going to find out soon. It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your 3D printer is? Well, here it's 11 o'clock. So it looks like we got people across time zones. In television, it's midnight. It is 11 where I am. It's 10 o'clock where Ben is. I know we have some Europeans that it was 4 a.m. at one point and they were still up. The Bigfoot is 11. It's 8 where Stephen is. Nova Scotia is where television is. 5 o'clock in the morning. Rameline, you didn't need to stay up till 5 a.m. But I appreciate it. I'm not going to turn you down. I'm not going to send you away. I'm not going to send you away. This is just about done. As you can see on there, we're 100% done on the thing. At 4 a.m. in the UK, Adrian, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Quebec, Jay Connolly's in Quebec. Love my Canadian neighbors. And we're done. That's it. Rooster says he likes the Overture PLA. Boom. Let's take a look at this. So first of all, there was a bit of a string here as it went up. A little bit of a string. I'm going to pull that off. This should, look at that print. Okay, I'm not even going to take it off the bed. I'm going to grab the camera. We're going to just take a look where it is. Because the light's here anyway. What do you think? I see layer lines in person, but only in this steep area here. I don't see any layer lines in this area whatsoever. The finish is extremely smooth. I mean, I don't know if you can hear it. It's smooth to the touch. So, looks fantastic. You're going to see me bend the plate. Is that anything like bending the knee? Probably not. Very smooth. All right. Let's go ahead. We'll pick it up. It's going to be a little hot. I'm going to suffer for you guys. Let's go ahead. There it goes. That's how hard it was to remove. PI for the win. Looks good. PI plate did its job. Bottom side. Look at that. Look at that bottom layer. That's how well that first layer, no baby stepping or anything, turned out on the bottom. So, see the back of that bunny? There's a line up the back that looks really, really clean. That's it. There it is. Boom. There's my bunny. Which you can't see because the printer's too daggum big. Boop, there's the bunny. Okay. Let me go ahead and turn the light off. Well, thank you everybody for sticking around. Some of you extremely early in the morning. Some of you extremely late at night. Some of you have to get to bed after this. Television said Cura does have a default profile for it. So made some minor tweaks and was good to go. Thanks, Television. Appreciate it. Time to go grab some dinner and prep for bed. Thank you, the Bigfoot. Guess I know what I want for Father's Day. That's right, Rooster. So anyway, let me quickly wrap this up here, and then you guys won't all disappear on me before the end of the stream. Anyway, Flsun V400. This is my first print with it. You guys saw the results. You picked the filament, you picked the print, and it turned out gorgeous. I mean, first layer looks good, top layer looks great. That filament virtually hides all the layer lines. So thank you very much, Shadow Dell, for coming. Dennis, everything looks great. I'm real happy with this. Assembly was pretty easy. I can say it was one of the faster printers I've built, particularly for its size. I like how they've done all the rod attachment points. They're really easy to attach. It's got springs that hold everything together nicely. Direct drive extruder, filament runout sensor. I like the lighting on here. It's got the nice bright lights under here. It's got the cool FL sunlight on the front. Thank you so much for all hanging out. Again, if you're interested in this printer, please use my affiliate links in the description. And then you've got that coupon code if you order direct from Flsun. If you want to order from Amazon, again, that helps me out too. Obviously, let me say it correctly. I earn from affiliate purchases on Amazon. Thank you very much, guys. It has been a fantastic Thursday night. Great hanging out with you. Please keep a lookout. Next Wednesday, big live stream. I'm going to have new so this is a big machine. The resin machine I have next week is the equivalent of this, but for resin. So keep a lookout for that. I'm going to have a big live stream next week, next Wednesday, where I'm going to be showing off my new resin printer. New great company to the channel. So again, thank you very much. Thank you to Flsun for providing the machine. Thank you all for hanging out with me tonight. It has been fantastic. And you guys stay safe out there. Take care of each other. Enjoy your time with your friends and your family. And I will see you guys next week. Happy printing. It's been great seeing you.